All right, we're live, episode 200.
And that voice is the voice of John Sonmez, for those of you who do
if
not
you don't recognize it.
remember.
He's a new member of the panel.
Yes, yes.
Hey, I tried. It seems like all my travel ends up being like on the Friday because I went. Well, I was in the car. I was here 2 weeks ago when I was heading to the cruise, and then the next Friday was coming back from the cruise. So yeah, that was the end of the cruise. So, but
that's okay. We replaced you with Rick.
Okay. Yeah, that was a pretty cool idea. I wish I didn't realize that they were trying to do that before until it was too late. But
yeah, the mixer.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yep, I crashed one. So.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that's a really good idea. I keep on thinking we need to do more stuff with Entre-Programmers groups, but there's always so much other higher priority stuff to deal with.
Yeah, there's always something.
Yeah, the mixer ideas, I like that a lot, though.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. So cruise was I don't know if I'm doing that again. I ate too much of the buffets. I tried, it was just, it was chaos.
Yep. Yeah, that's why you're wearing a shirt this week, right?
Exactly. Yeah. I got fat. And then, yeah.
In 1 week.
Yeah, well, 2 weeks because I went to my parents' house too. But that wasn't as bad. But I've been off of the strict program for 2 weeks basically. So yes, hang my head in shame. But it was bad though on the ship though because it's like an open buffet all the time.
Oh
pretty much.
I'm sure.
Yeah. I mean, I pretty much like at first stuck to the like one meal a day, like but then there were a few days where I was like didn't stick to the one meal a day. And it's like, bread pudding would be good if I added chocolate and butterscotch to that. That would make it better.
Yep, absolutely. You want the stuff that's bad for you or the stuff that's really bad for you?
Yeah.
We all need downtime. It's good.
Yeah. I won a poker tournament though on the cruise. I won another cruise actually.
Nice.
Which answers John's question about whether he's doing this again.
Yeah, well, I can sell it. I guess I can sell the thing for $2,400 if I want. Which
wow.
I don't know. I haven't decided yet. It was like a satellite tournament. So the first place winner got entry into the bigger tournament and then also a cruise package. So I ended up winning that one, and then I don't know. We'll see. And then I played another tournament, and then I on the boat, and I won that one as well. So, but that was yeah.
Oh.
I played poker.
You're like my middle son Jonah. We played a bunch of Go Fish over the holiday break, and he's any game of chance he has like this unbeatable edge. It's hilarious, and he was at one point he was like stomping all of us. It was me, my wife, and the Levi and Jonah, and Jonah was winning, and he was like, "Who's winning, mommy?" Like he didn't know or care. He was like completely carefree about it. Oh gosh, you don't want to go up against that kid in Candyland. He will destroy you.
Poker tournaments aren't a game of chance, though. Well, I mean,
know.
To some degree they are, but I mean, you got to get somewhat lucky. But I hadn't played a poker tournament in like a few years, so I didn't know if I still had the moves, but I did pretty good. So
nice. Oh,
I did nothing last week, so.
Nothing is good.
Yeah.
I guess I'm the only one with stuff to report then.
Yeah. I actually, I had a good, I was able to disengage
Okay.
and not feel, like I was stressing about not working or anything. So that was good. But the downside of that is not wanting to come back.
Exactly.
Yeah, we were talking about that right before we started the call, and you showed up.
Yeah, I'm in the full throes of that right now. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's like, well, and it's funny because it's like it's New Year's, and I'm like, I don't want to do any of this. I don't want. It's like I'm starting from zero. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do any of this again.
Yeah.
Well, you two lazy guys. I mean, I've already done 2 podcast interviews today.
Well, that's good.
Nice.
That's good. I've written a couple emails.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
I've run
Just not
5
happy
miles.
about it.
But yeah, so last week was kind of crazy for me, just with all of the stuff going on. We were planning on coming down to my in-laws, and then my great aunt died, and so I stayed up in Utah County to go to the funeral, and my wife brought all of my kids except for one who was sick down here to Emery County in Utah. You can Google it. There's some Indian writings here, or Indian petroglyphs and stuff that you can come see, but not a whole lot out here other than that, in coal mines. So anyway, but that's where my in-laws live. So we're down here now. But yeah, so I stayed up in Utah County for the funeral. And anyway, I didn't get a ton done, but what I did get done was kind of fun. I hired a new business coach because the coaching, I paid for a year with Jamie, and I felt like I needed more direct guidance on some of this stuff.
Yeah.
So, just specifically the hiring and delegating and all that stuff. So I hired somebody else that I knew. His name's Scott Beebe, and he walks you through. I think we talked through this last week a little bit, with the delegation and business direction and stuff. And so anyway, so I got through a whole bunch of stuff on that as far as figuring out where I want to wind up, and within the next few years anyway. Working out delegation and things like that, and figuring out what the roles are in my business, and just stuff that I kind of knew that I needed to do, but I didn't really have any formal guidance on. So
yeah, so it's more it's more tactical.
Yeah, it's all of the working on your business instead of in your business stuff that we all know we're supposed to do.
Right.
So anyway, so I'm working on that, and got a lot of that done. And then Friday I was trying to get some work done, and I didn't because the funeral and stuff. Then the weekend, but yeah, so I got some stuff done, but not a ton. But I'm starting to do. John mentioned that you guys had your Scrum meeting this morning, and I scheduled that for tomorrow with my team. So I'm going to start doing weekly check-in meetings with them.
Oh, okay.
So that'll be good. And then I'm working on delegating as much as I can, because then I can actually do the stuff that I really need to be doing instead of so. One thing I have to ask you guys though, because my previous business coach, she called up and she's like, I need to hire some API work. I don't know what questions to ask them. And I was like, oh, okay. So we talked for a little while, and then she's like, so she checked in on me and what I'm working on about it. And she's like, yeah. Well, before you, because I have Michelle, who has been has me book weeks for all the shows now, weeks and weeks and weeks. And I'm really just super happy with her. She's like, you have to let somebody vet her before you bring her on full time. I'm like, it has to be somebody who's not going to pull any punches and going to tell you exactly what they think.
Yeah.
I'd have you guys talk to her this week if you can.
So what are you looking? What does vetting mean here?
Just making sure that she's an A player, that she'll get stuff done, that she's a qualified person.
Isn't she already working full time for you?
No, she's part time.
But you're how many hours?
20 per week.
So you're just gonna up her to 40 hours, right?
Yeah, that's the plan.
But you're still gonna pay her hourly.
Yeah.
Oh, I would just up her hours. I mean, if she's working out good now.
Yeah, you could always, Chuck, you could always do an intermediate step and go to 30 first.
Yeah.
And you know, and not, you don't have to make a big deal about it. Like, I think like going, you know, upping someone's hours does not mean that you're marrying them.
That's true.
And
That's true.
so, you know, if you are going to hire someone and they're going to be salaried, that's changing the nature of the relationship, right? Because
Yeah.
there's some built-in incentives with hourly that aren't there when you're salaried. So you really, you know, you've got to, the reason you'd hire someone's salary would be if their hourly rate is just so high that you can't afford it, right? Like a developer would be $200 an hour, but you could get them for $100,000 a year.
Right.
That makes sense.
I think her concern is that she basically told me that my standards haven't been high enough, and that's true with some of the people that I've hired.
Yeah.
And so what she wants me to do is she wants me to have somebody talk to her and make sure that, you know, I'm delighted she's getting stuff done. You know, make sure somebody else talks to her and says, "Oh, yeah, you could do better," you know, or "Oh no, she's great," you know.
So I feel like this is why we don't really do interviews for our positions, do we, John? I mean,
no, it gives them work.
Yeah, it's. I mean, you're kind of. I feel like you're past that point. That you've already auditioned her and she's passed with flying colors.
That's true.
And the fact that, to me, okay, so to me, what the mark of an A player is when they start coming to you with and asking you for more work, or they come up with new stuff that they can do. They're asking you like really intelligent questions that make you think.
Right.
Yeah, she does
like,
all of that.
Like we've got this writer that we're working with for the books, and she got, you know, she replied to John with really good questions. They were like, you know, who's the audience here? You know, she was thinking about this like I would think about it. I was impressed. You know, she was bringing a professional writing mind to it, and that became clear through working with her. Right. That's not really something you can kind of, I feel like the interview step, if you use it, is like just to eliminate people.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I've used it for in the past.
It's to eliminate the bottom 80% who are just terrible. We did that with the application screening process. So I would be willing to do it, but I just don't feel like it would really give you the kind of information that you need. Right.
No, that makes sense.
If you really, I mean, the other thing to do would be like, if you really want to, if you're still feeling not like you're not really sure about her, give her something even harder to work on. So if you can up the game, force her to up her game a little bit, or throw her a curveball or something, make it.
Yeah, I've got a handful of things that I want her to take on that are a little more complicated than what she's been doing. So
yeah, I mean, one thing you could do too would be to tell her, hey, look, I've got X, Y, and Z work. Tell me what you think it would take to get that done every week, and then you can that might give you some new information, because you get a sense for whether she's a sandbagger.
Yeah, that's true.
But you probably would already know that.
Yep.
That's how I ended up like doing with Rodrigo when I first hired him. I think he was 10 hours a week, and then he was doing a good job. So I was like, okay, I've got this additional task I need done. And I upped him to 15 or 20 hours a week. And then I kept on adding more tasks and teaching him how to do it, and then kept upping his hours until he was full time.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't think it really, there's any need to go like, hey, you are now a full-time employee of mine.
Right. Yeah, she's still working through Odesks or Upwork or whatever it is.
Okay.
Yeah. So I can so I have her capped at 20 hours on there, so I can just up it there.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
So I'll just talk to her and just say, hey, look, I'm gonna up your hours Here are the other things that I want you to do.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to do it. The other nice thing about doing it that way too is because if you have, if you have us interview her essentially, and then she passes, then she might think, "Oh, I've passed. Now I don't have to like work as hard."
Yeah.
So you just kind of want to make it like, "Hey, you're doing a good job. So how would you like more work?"
Yep.
Yeah. I see your point.
I mean,
think about it.
If it was so in a traditional business, right, you would have where everybody's essentially full-time. Like we have a different sort of business here. If everybody was kind of full-time and you're hiring another developer or something, then and you interview them, maybe you have them do like some code challenges or something, then yeah, getting another like another
right,
having another layer in there
I guess
makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, well, and I think the other thing is with Jamie, I think she wants me to bring in somebody that's more on the level of like online business manager or something.
Yeah.
Instead of just somebody to kind of do these, tasks that I have out. And I think eventually my team will grow to the point where I need somebody like that who can, I need, this general thing done, and then they go and they make it happen.
Yeah.
I think you have to grow
I'm not there yet.
too.
Yeah, I'm not there yet.
I think you have to grow those people. It's hard to imagine you just hiring someone off the street and having them come in and do a better job at something like that than you would.
Well, that's the thing, is you don't need to hire somebody that'll do a better job than you would. If they can do the job 80% as well as you, and they take all of that stuff off your plate, then then it's a win. And the thing that I'm seeing there is as things continue to grow with the podcasts and the podcasting software and the conferences, and it's starting to pile up.
Mm-hmm.
And so what winds up happening is I wind up playing online business manager. And so once that kind of becomes my full-time job, I'm doing more of that than anything else, then I can go find somebody and say, hey, look, can you, project manage this stuff for me? But in the meantime, I mean, it's, hey, can you take this stuff on? And hey, can you over here take this other stuff on? And that's what I'm doing. I've got Dee working on she's been doing the social media stuff. And then I've got Michelle working on the podcast scheduling stuff. But I'm pretty sure that I can make Michelle do a lot more of the podcast stuff and just take a lot more of that off my plate, so that all I have to do is show up and record and then upload files.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think she seems like she's a candidate for becoming what you're describing.
Yeah.
I don't think it's likely that you're going to find somebody. I'm sure they're out there, but project,
I've got a few friends who have hired them and have been pretty happy with them. So
okay, all right. So,
but it's definitely a different kind of hire.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Anyway. But yeah, then just planning out the new year. All the conferences I'm going to go to or want to go to. I'm really trying to decide. I wasn't in a position to buy a ticket to Microsoft when they were selling them for kind of deal, but previous attendee sale. I love going to the conference, but I'm trying to decide how much I'm going to get out of it if I go. So I'm trying to decide if I'm going to go or not. Am I a horrible person for doing that?
Yes.
Says the other guy who's not going.
Yeah, I've definitely decided I'm not going. So.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. I mean, last year I didn't feel like I got as much out of it, but I don't know. But I'm mostly going for the networking at this point.
Yeah, that's the thing, is the networking is really great.
Yeah.
But the content last year and I think the year before, I just wasn't entirely wowed by it. Some of it was definitely useful, but none of it was a slam dunk.
Yeah. Yeah, I felt like the year. Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's split up again this year, right? So
yeah, it is.
I was surprised that they still split it up, because I felt there was something lacking with the splitting it up. But
yeah, I don't know. I'll have to think about it, make a decision before they up the price. Yeah. If we're not all going to MicroConf, though, we should figure out doing some kind of in-person get-together, I think.
Yeah, I'd like to this year. That'd be cool.
Yeah, maybe we could set something up for later this year with the whole Entre Programmers
Oh,
Yeah.
that would be fun.
community. Make it a little bit of a bigger
Yeah, just
event.
see who wants to come, and then find some place that's, near a major airport that we can all go to.
Maybe not Mexico. Like,
Yeah, that would have been fun, but yeah.
also not in the path of a hurricane. They got slammed. The where we would have been staying got slammed like within a few weeks of when we would have been there. So,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yep. I knew about it because we were going to be there, so I saw the name on the news. But yeah.
Yeah, I think we should probably just find some place that, maybe, what is it, like Breckenridge or something up in the canyon up by Denver or something. Somewhere where there's stuff to go see and do, but,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
at the same time, it's not that far from a major airport or something. Just find out who all can come and then rent a place big enough for everybody.
Yeah. Definitely.
We'll have to up all the Entre Programmer monthly fees. Hear that, guys? $500 a month each of you. So now going forward, no.
Yeah.
I bet it'd be nice to put together like a forum and like a make it more of a business model.
More,
or something. Yeah, or have more stuff. But I don't know. It's hard. Like no one really has time to work on the Entre Programmer stuff. So
yeah. I mean, it'd be fun to set up, but yeah, it's the time issue for me.
yeah. But oh gosh, it was kind of good to be disconnected from the phone. On the cruise, I didn't have internet, or it was like crap internet. So I might have to like make that more of my default operation.
You didn't find out that Trump crashed America while you were gone?
Oh.
Out of the ditch last minute. That's why we're all still here.
Did we reboot America? Or...
Yeah, that's right. I don't know. Okay. It's just funny. All the people yelling and screaming about, yeah. The whole political thing has just gotten so ridiculous.
Yeah.
It'd probably be nice to unplug and just not hear about it for a week. Because they come up with, every time I think that, the people on the left couldn't come up with something more ridiculous to say about Donald Trump, they do. And I don't particularly like the guy. But I'm just sitting there going, okay, folks, but you're a clown show at this point.
Gotta
I like a
sell
lot of
those
the stuff he's
newspapers.
done, but I don't really like the guy. Defending the guy, but oh my gosh. Anyway, it's just funny.
We'll see how
it'd be fun to it'd be nice to not worry about it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the taxes affect this with the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's good or bad yet. So.
I think for me, it's probably going to be good. I'm pretty sure because they so with my projected income for 2018, I'm thinking that I probably would have ended up in a higher tax bracket, and they've extended that bracket. They've extended the bracket that I'm in now way beyond what I think we'll make end up making this year. So that'll probably be beneficial. It seems like the state, so I think they capped the mortgage and state deductions.
Yeah, they did.
Based on, but it doesn't seem like it was really that. Honestly, I was kind of disappointed. I was really wanting them to simplify things, and it seems like this is just how I roll. I'd be willing to pay higher taxes if they simplified it for everyone and made it more sane than to just to be. I'm not like somebody who's like, oh, I don't care about the whole thing. I just care about my piece of it. I'd rather that they the idea of the mortgage interest deduction to me is just silly, and the state income tax thing is the same deal. It's like they're subsidizing states. Basically, it's like a subsidy for states. So it's like, why do that? Just lower everyone's rates, and get rid of all these crazy deductions. And seems like they didn't really do that. They just added complexity to it. So
yeah.
but
Well, I
think,
agree. I mean,
yeah,
it's such a pain to figure out what the heck you're,
yeah.
Oh,
It's
my tax rate's 20%, period, the end. I'm just going to save 20% for the government. Done.
right. Yeah, it's just this massive game. But one thing I'm excited about, since they were, basically just adding deductions and stuff, is I can now use a 529 plan to pay for private school tuition for K through 12. So,
Oh, really?
yeah. So basically, I'm going to set up a 529. So you could always do that with college, but I don't want to do 529 for college because it's essentially like a 401k at that point. The investments that they use are terrible. And then if you want to, so you don't have to pay taxes on the money on the way in, but then if you want to take it out later and use it for other stuff, you have to pay a penalty if it's not going to be for education. So it's like you're basically locking yourself into assuming that all of your children are going to college, and you're going to use all that money for them. But with this, what I'm going to do is set it up as a pass-through account. So I'm basically just going to pay the tuition into this 529 and then take it back out. There's no reason not to do that.
Yeah.
And I checked with my tax guy, and he's like, well, I need to reread the bill because it's 1,059 pages or whatever.
I know, it's ridiculous.
But my understanding is the same as yours. So, yeah. So basically, I'm just going to set it up as a pass-through, make the deposits into that, and then use that to pay the tuition every month. And that'll be like, it's basically just like paying with before tax dollars. So that'll be like a 25% discount essentially, which takes some of the sting out of the fact that I'm paying for schooling twice.
Yeah.
But yeah, you just kind of get used to paying for everything twice.
Yeah. Well, my kids go to a charter school, and I feel like we do the same thing.
Yeah.
It's, we don't have to pay a tuition, but we pay property tax, and that all goes to the school district.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It doesn't go to the charter schools. They have a separate fund for that. I'm just like, hey, can I opt out? I'm not using it.
Yes, I would very much like that. I mean, it's amazing like that. I've done the math on that, and that doesn't go away. Like, right, even if you pay off your mortgage, you're going to pay those taxes for 30 to 50 years. And you could pay for quite a bit of private schooling with that money.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
yeah, that's hardly the most egregious thing that the government does. So, I mean, my issue is that they spend their money on such stupid crap, and then they won't talk about the things. I mean, because honestly, we can't keep borrowing the way we're borrowing. Eventually, we're going to hit a wall, and it's frustrating because it's like, look, the things that we could reform that would make a difference, nobody wants to talk about.
No.
That's frustrating. It's like, look, if you want to take more of my dollars because you need more of my dollars to make things work, the things that the government should be doing work, fine. But if you want to take my dollars and give them to somebody else and then borrow more money to give to somebody else, I really have a problem with it, because all I'm doing is supporting you and being irresponsible.
Well, it's sort of like it's sort of like having an alcoholic uncle. So you're like, I would, okay, like, Uncle Sam, I would give you an extra $100 if you would go through rehab, and I knew that you would actually be not an alcoholic anymore, right? But I'm not going to give you $100 so that you can go drink and wrap your car around a telephone pole and then come back to me and want money to pay for that. Sorry.
Yeah, except drunk Uncle Sam, he shows up with a gun and makes you give it to him anyway.
That is true. That is true.
Exactly.
I mean, and that's the other thing that's so frustrating, right? Is just like, look, I could do so much good with this money, but instead you go and you pay a bunch of bureaucrats, and then the rest of it you give away to people and incentivize them not to do anything good with their lives.
Yep.
And I know that some people on not everybody on welfare is that way, but there are enough of them. Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm probably going to piss a bunch of people off, but I really feel like, you know what?
A bunch of
If you're
people
gonna
that are on welfare.
Well, my thing is like, you know, Social Security, you know, you're supposed to pay in and then they give you money back when you're older. But that's a worse investment than Josh's 401k with the terrible investment options.
Yeah.
You know, you if you make any money on that money, it's a miracle. And then on top of it, if you die, your wife doesn't get it. You know, your kids get it if they're under 18 until they're 18. But, you know, if I put it in an actual retirement account, that money's still mine. And when I pass, you know, then it's theirs. You know, it's just, you know, and then you've got all of the other, you know, Medicare, Medicaid and stuff. And I mean, I don't want anybody to suffer, but at the same time, you know, we shield people from real consequences, or, you know, we put them on this program and they don't get great care anyway under Medicare or Medicaid a lot of the time. You know, it's like we're doing it poorly. We're spending a ton of money on it. Most of the money, you know, I would dare say half the money doesn't even make it to the people it's supposed to help. And then on top of all of that, you know, we're incentivizing these people to not take responsibility for their lives. And then when they complain about how bad it is, we just give them more money.
Chuck, what made you so full of hate?
Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to the dark side.
Have you guys seen the new Star Wars movie, by the way?
I have.
I haven't.
You
No.
haven't? Okay, we probably shouldn't talk about it. I saw
Everybody dies.
I saw it. And
Is it worth watching?
Yeah.
Okay, so my
It
take
is, but
on
I
it,
will whine about it.
my take on it actually was that I actually liked it better than The Force Awakens.
Yes.
The Force
I thought-
Awakens was number 7.
Number 7, yeah, that was the other newer one.
Yeah, I didn't like the number 7 feminist bullshit
I felt like
propaganda.
It's John's turn to piss people off. Go, John.
That's what this podcast has just become.
Well, the thing is we usually talk about what's coming up this week and what went on last week. And last week, not a whole lot went on for any of us. And this next week is, we're ramping the machine back up. So anyway, go ahead, Josh.
Yeah, so I thought that the Force Awakens was infinitely better than the other 3 episodes, like episodes 1 through 3. It felt they kind of recaptured some of the feel of the original movies. And I liked that about it, but it felt it was pretty much, it was just kind of all, it was just like action sequence after action sequence for me, and there wasn't really a lot of it wasn't, I don't know, it wasn't paced very well, I didn't think, and there wasn't really a whole lot of story to it. But this one, I didn't realize it was so controversial until after I had seen it, and because like apparently tons of people just hate it. Right. And yeah, like a lot of the diehard Star Wars people really hated it, but I thought it was, I mean, yeah, I can't really talk too much about it without getting into the plot, but basically Luke is kind of disillusioned and checked out, and that's actually what I was expecting. And I guess everybody, like a lot of people, were kind of expecting him to just sort of, become, just grab his lightsaber and go off and jump right back into the fray. And I was not expecting that at all. I was expecting him. He was a little bit like a cynical Yoda. Like, remember how Yoda was hiding away on Dagobah and kind of out of the game, and that's a little bit, and Luke kind of had that same kind of like a little bit slightly crazy, like, where is this guy even coming from kind of feel to him. And I don't know. I thought that some of like the lightsaber duel at the end with the Royal Guards was pretty awesome. And yeah, it was just good. There was less. I saw it in the theater with my kids actually, and it was less. It felt like it was less overwhelming somehow than the other one, and just I don't know. It was just more interesting. So I would definitely recommend it.
Yeah, it was better than Force Awakens. I kind of rank it up there as if I ranked them all, it would probably be my 4th favorite after the 3 original ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, I still have some issues with it. It was better than the last one. You know, the last one had a couple of interesting characters, Han Solo and Kylo Ren. This one had a couple of interesting characters. It was Kylo Ren and Kylo Ren. Also Kylo Ren. The rest of the characters are all flat and boring.
Yeah.
But you know, Rey is somewhat interesting because she interacts with Kylo Ren. I'm serious. I mean, Luke, Leia, I mean, it's frustrating because, you know, I love these characters from the original trilogy, and they're just, you know, Luke started getting a little bit interesting, and then they had to kibosh that because you can't have that. So, you know, as far as the characters go, I mean, just not that exciting. Yeah, the plot line was somewhat interesting. Like, there were a couple of things that I couldn't call out a half hour before they happened, but most of it I kind of could. But yeah, overall it was, you know, it was a good movie. I enjoyed it. But yeah, I really, I mean, the thing that made the original the original trilogy was that they had these outrageous settings, you know, like Cloud City and the Death Star and all of these different, you know, things going on. And then on top of that, they had these really fascinating characters. And sure, Luke was a whiny little butt, and he was a whiny little butt the whole time. In fact, he was a whiny little butt in The Last Jedi.
Yeah, I know. That's actually it felt like continuity to me from
Yeah.
yeah. Like that was basically Luke Skywalker grown up. I mean, like,
Yeah.
you know, that was pretty much. And I enjoyed. There was a scene in there with Yoda where Yoda comes and like smacks him around and straightens him out.
Yeah.
That I thought felt like we were back on Dagobah. I really, really enjoyed that part.
Yeah. But anyway, it was just so overall, I mean, you know, some of the effects and some of the things that they came up with were kind of fun and kind of interesting. Of course, there were a couple of things in there that I'm like, why didn't they do that before? And then I thought about it a little bit more, and I said, why didn't they do that in the original trilogy to get rid of the Death Star? But because it would have worked, would have cost them a whole lot less. Anyway, but overall, it was a good movie. There were a few plot holes, you know, going through it too that just made me kind of go, come on. I mean, you have people that live and breathe this universe. Go hire one of them.
Hire any one of the fans, and
yeah. I mean, just go find the guy that has 6 R2-D2 t-shirts and wears one every day of the week, and then lets his mom wash them on Sunday, and you know, hire him and make sure that it all adds up. But no, we hired J.J. Abrams, and so it's just going to be perfect. Anyway, sorry.
My kids were like,
Rant over.
Afterwards, my kids were both like, yeah, we like The Force Awakens better. So they pretty much agreed with the entire Star Wars fandom.
Huh. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm curious to see it now. So
I hope I didn't spoil anything, but yeah, I was trying not to.
No, it's weird. Like, I never expected. I mean, after the episode 1, 2, and 3, it was. I mean, unfortunately, like
wait, episodes what?
1, 2, and 3.
Those don't exist.
Oh yes, exactly, precisely. But
yeah.
You know, George Lucas, he's just a one-hit wonder. It's just like, it's unfortunate, but that's just what I mean. And a lot of people are, right? I mean, look at Look at Andy Weir with the Martian, and then he's got his new book, but no one is even. It's not getting very good reviews, and you know, it's like
yeah. I didn't think. I actually saw it when I saw that he had released a new book. I was like, I didn't think that it was even. I'm actually not even curious to read it at all.
I read it.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, you read the new one. Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't as good as The Martian, but it was good.
Okay.
He's not really a writer. Like, this is the thing with he's a Mars exploration expert. So he did the thing. I felt like The Martian was the thing that he could do really, really well.
Right.
And he's trying to become a best-selling author now off of that platform. And I don't know, he might pull it off, but it's a different ball game. Like he was so, I mean, he wrote software. He wrote software to calculate the trajectory of the rescue shuttles in the Martian. Like he actually worked all that out so that it was accurate. He wrote, so he just had so much detailed knowledge about that one topic that it's very hard for me to imagine him. And that's what made that book good, in my opinion. I mean, the story was really good too, but his detailed specific knowledge is what really made it work.
Well, it was an organic thing, right? He wasn't trying to create something like, you know what I mean? It's the same thing with George Lucas and Star Wars. It was an organic thing. He's not really a good story writer or director, like not like, because he wasn't trained for it. He didn't really, like, you know what I mean? Like he just came up with this idea and did this thing, right? A lot of people are going to disagree with me, but it doesn't. But you know, look at afterwards. Like he just couldn't recreate that thing again, because the first time it was organic and every other time it was forced, right? And that's
the other thing is that I think both Lucas and Weir, they miss out on what made those books really great. And that was in The Martian, it was the journey, right? It was going through all this stuff with Watney, whatever his name was. And you know, and so it's how do I solve this problem? And so you get to explore the Mars with him. And Artemis is much more, there's a city on the moon, and and so he has to give you all this history and all the interactions and stuff. And so some of the exploration stuff was fun and cool, and it's like, what if this was actually existed on the moon? But it was much more of a social heist. It was more of a heist than anything else. And the other one was much more of an kind of an exploration adventure. And I think he's much better at the one genre than the other. The other thing is like with George Lucas, I don't think he realized that it being a space opera was really what made it work.
Right.
And so he tried way too hard to create a space adventure story in the first three movies. And he was much more interested in the technology and the places than he was in the people and the things that really made the original trilogy work. And that's why they flopped. Is because he cared more about having the special effects. I mean, you go back over his edits to the original trilogy, and he adds all of these creatures in and stuff like that, and it's all unnecessary. And what he's trying to do is he's trying to make it more science fiction-y. And nobody watched it for the science fiction. I mean, people liked watching the X-Wings fly through space and blow up the Death Star, and that was science fiction-y, but it was the red leader and and the interactions between all of the characters, and you felt like you were part of the rebellion. That's what drew people in. It wasn't the other stuff. And so they just missed the boat.
Yep.
But the heist was fun in Artemis. It's a good read, but it wasn't The Martian. The Martian I couldn't put down.
Yeah.
What are you playing with, John? I keep hearing metal clacking together.
This metal puzzle thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Those are fun.
Yeah, they are.
But
so do you guys have plans for this next year? Do you know sort of the direction and milestones that you're trying to reach, or are you just kind of pantsing it for the next little while?
Well, I mean, I think the plan is to do a lot of courses this year. I'd like to see us hit $1 million business this year is kind of the goal.
So you're going to give Pluralsight a run for their money kind of thing? You're just going to create a bunch of courses or find people to create courses for you?
Well, we're talking about creating more probably courses that I'll be creating, mostly like that will that will be more of the soft skills type of courses. Right, we need like some bigger courses. We need more things to sell, really. Is what it comes down to. And then the whole affiliate thing that we discovered is working to do more of that. I think is a good plan. So
So are you
Yeah,
going to put any courses up on, like, I think you were talking to Skillshare or somebody?
well, we're licensing the book through them, but it's a possibility to license courses.
Okay.
I think.
Cool. I was just curious.
yeah, yeah. I'm gonna probably be looking at getting. I want to get it on a more formal promotional schedule where we know in advance what we're going to be doing a few months out. So I've kind of started working on that, and then I'm going to be like, for example, we're thinking we're going to do a giveaway every month to grow the email list. So I'm doing a giveaway this month actually with Sublime. I'm going to work on it once we jump off here. Actually, I want to make sure that approach still has legs to it. I'm pretty sure it will work. I don't think it's going to work as well as it used to because of the changes to Facebook and Twitter that make those social media posts less visible. But we're going to figure out how effective it still is. And but yeah, like, probably do at least one affiliate promotion per month, and then some kind of product. I'd like to be doing a product launch every couple of months for the duration of the year. So will be a pretty aggressive schedule, but I think we've tested some things out. Like we tested it with the last affiliate promotion we did in December, which I don't know if I even talked about actually, because that was like heading into the holiday. But yeah, we did a affiliate promotion with John's has a friend in San Diego, Manny Vea, and he's got this product which is he does book summaries. So he reads books and then does like a 10 to 15 minute condensed video to give you the 3 or 4 major ideas out of the book.
Right.
And he's got collections of about 50 on different topics. So we did his productivity one, and we broke his website.
Yay!
Yeah, we did the launch, and then we did about, I think it was close to 600 sales, which is pretty good, pretty decent. And then he was like not able. He spent the next 3 days like for trying to figure out why his website wouldn't load. So it might have been some issue with either we painted the target for some hacker that just started to do a DDoS on him or whatever, or the extra traffic from the downloads and watches was too much for his server. But yeah, so I want to do one of those a month. We tested in this last one. We tested whether having John create a bonus was useful, and the answer is maybe. So bonus, like doing a bonus, is not a slam dunk. The bonus has to really nail the right pain point, or it doesn't help that much. So we A/B tested it, and there was literally no difference between the people that got the bonus and the people that didn't. So that makes that easier. We've also and we're also realizing that we don't have to, because we do so much selling in the email, we don't have to do as much work on the sales pages, which will make these like product launches and stuff a lot easier for me to swing. So we'll probably be going to a much more streamlined approach to doing sales pages, where it's basically just sort of outlines the course contents and has a buy button.
Yep.
For the affiliate offers, the landing pages we've been using have been really basic. I mean, they're like, the interview cake one was literally just the guarantee, the price, some testimonials, and a buy now button. Like it definitely was not a long form sales page, and it worked great. So yeah, so it's going to be pretty busy. I think it's just going to be a high velocity year for us. And just hopefully we can just kind of space things out to where doesn't get too crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah, mostly for me, or at least the next 6 months, I'm really just working on making this business into a business, right? So just delegating the stuff that I can delegate and handling all the stuff that I own, and then just, making systems around it. My goal really is, I was thinking about it. I reread the E-Myth Revisited. That was one of the books that was required reading for the coaching that I'm doing.
Yeah.
And, he talks about the franchise, the turnkey model, and, if somebody franchised your business kind of thing. And it really occurred to me, okay, well, if I got hit by a bus, I want my wife to be able to keep running things until she decides that she doesn't want to anymore. Right? So that she's not out in the cold, even if I have life insurance or something, right? She's not out in the cold. And she can hire people to do the stuff that I was doing, along with continuing to work with the people that I have doing the stuff that they're doing.
Right.
So, so that's kind of the deal there. But if I can make those processes work, then, and get processes around my business and have a team doing all the stuff that they need to do so that it runs like a business instead of runs like me running like a chicken with my head cut off, then that changes the complexion of a lot of different things. And it also allows me to move ahead with new ideas and new opportunities without myself having to be the bottleneck. So that's the first 6 months. And then the second 6 months, I've really enjoyed doing the finding a job course. And so I'm thinking that I want to do more courses just because I like doing them. But I need to kind of find that sweet spot for me as far as price and topic. And so I'll probably be experimenting with that and figuring that out. But yeah, overall, the rest of it is just automation, delegation stuff. And really, like I said, just getting it to the point where, I can say, look, this is the operations manual. This is how we do things. And that way, if my wife or somebody else has to take over, they can.
Yeah.
But it also, it forces me to streamline a lot of things that I don't have streamlined at the moment. So
Right.
It pays off in 2 ways. So anyway.
Nice. Excellent.
Well, I'm curious to see how your launches go. And once you figure out how to crack the affiliate thing, you can tell me, and then I can make big money off of it.
So far, we've done pretty good with it. Yeah, it's been.
Yeah.
Yep. The formula is pretty simple. So I pretty much know now when I'm going into it, like what I need from people, and pretty much I just give them a take it or leave it proposition as far as pricing, and just and our affiliate split, and then we have a pretty well established time frame and sales template for the number of emails to send and everything. I think I'm going to keep, this will be fun. I'm going to keep bumping that up and just see how many emails can I actually send. I saw a story from somebody who did like an affiliate thing, or no, I think it was just a regular sale for a product launch or something. But this guy sent like 24 emails in one day or something.
Oh my
wow.
gosh.
He'd sent like 3 or 4 emails, and it was like they were getting a few sales, and he was just like, you know what? I'm just going to like take this up to 11. And he just sat there all day and just wrote emails. And as he finished them, he sent them out.
Yeah.
And he ended up doing like somewhere between 18 and 24 emails, and they made like $100,000, and it was.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's pretty. It's pretty hilarious. I mean, like we still get emails from people saying, like 2 weeks later, after one of these deals, oh, I can't believe I missed this.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like, how did you miss it? Yeah, but.
Well, if you look at most people's inboxes, then you see why.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
it's funny too. I was just thinking, like, I signed up for this John Varavatos, like it's this clothing company, and they send me emails like every day. It's like 25%. Like it's always a sale, and I just like got an email this morning. It's like the sale has been extended. And and that's like, I don't even think twice about that. And I mean, half the time I'm like, oh, maybe I should go and look over there. Well, maybe later, you know what I mean? And so, and I don't unsubscribe because I'm like, oh, I don't want to like miss out on the sales when they do the sales. So I was just thinking about that, like from a psychological perspective of like, is it really that big of a deal that they're sending me this many emails, that they're extending the sales? No, it must be working, right? Like,
yeah.
Grant Cardone sends like 3 or 4 emails a day.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And they're terrible.
Yeah.
I don't mind. I don't have any objection to sending that many emails, but his emails have no value in them. They're
you
like
have to have that, and your audience has to be okay with it.
They're like it's like a bunch of different. It's kind of interesting. I stay subscribed because of the subject lines, or some of them are pretty good. But it's basically like they're all just like attention grabber subject lines, and then it's the same email every single time, pretty much.
Oh yeah.
He's promoting his 10x growth con really heavily, and so everything is like, you can see it in the preview. I don't even open the emails because you can see it's like, it'll be like this really good, intriguing subject line, and then you'll see the first line of the email, and it's like, tickets are on sale for 10x growth con. I'm like,
Yeah.
Mark is red, archive, do not care.
But it must be still producing sales, and it will. I mean,
Oh
a
yeah,
lot of,
yeah.
repeated exposure too, right? It's not just sales; it's advertising, so it's marketing. Like,
yep. Well, and if it works, it works.
so Josh is going to send 20 emails in one day.
Yeah,
that is my goal. My goal is to blow through our entire drip quota in one day.
Nice. All right. Well, I got to start getting packed up, and we're gonna drive home. So,
all right. I guess I better finally answer some emails.
Yeah.
So I got a little bit up last night, but I got a bunch to catch up on. So. All right, guys. Well, hopefully we'll all be full of energy next week or the end of this week.
Yeah.
On Friday.
We'll have more to talk about than Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this week I'm around. Next week it really depends on what CES looks like. Because Friday's the last day of CES next week.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
But yeah,
What do we have
this Friday. Thoughts? Keep moving forward. I mean, this last year was rough for me. You all heard it.
Yeah.
But I'm not even. I mean, I'm looking at it in some ways as how do I not go through that again? But mostly, I'm just looking forward. What do I have coming? What can I do better? How do I make this, be what I want it to be? I went through an exercise. It was a vision exercise, and just hammered down some of the points as far as, oh, this is the life I want. This is the business I want, et cetera, and that's really been helpful. And so now I'm looking forward as to how do I get there, instead of looking back and going, that really sucked. How do I not do that again?
Yep.
This is just venting more than a cohesive thought. I'm just kind of at a point where I've achieved a lot of really big, important goals for myself that I've had, and I'm sort of floundering right now. Just honestly don't know what the next big thing is. And
you don't own a private island yet, do you?
I don't own a private island, no.
Okay. Just trying to help.
I don't really want a private island though. See, you got to actually want it, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm just sort of trying to sort through, like, what is the next thing that I'm going to get excited about? What can I set out there for myself to try to achieve that actually motivate me. So like, I've tried setting some goals, and like a SMART goal, is only going to motivate you if you really care about it, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Goals are useful, but they really have to hit you somewhere deep inside, I guess.
Yeah, that's the tough thing once you reach, like just staying motivated once you've already sort of hit the, like, you're not as hungry. Like, how do you stay hungry? That's the question, is always like.
Yeah, well, and like I'm in this weird spot now where my goals need to be, they're so big that they're going to not feel realistic or achievable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the gap between where I am now, John, and where you are is huge. And it doesn't really motivate me to think about, saving so much that I could retire is like a multi-million-dollar goal. And that's not getting me fired up right now. You know what I mean? Like that doesn't make any difference for my life for a long time.
Well, if it's any consolation, you may reach that and not retire. So
yeah. No, yeah, exactly.
I hear that.
It's not really the goal to shoot for anyway. You know
right.
what I mean? So,
yeah.
But at the same time, I do look at, the early retirement goal as more of a life insurance or disability insurance kind of a thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where, I don't think I'm made for retirement. I don't know if either of you are either, oh, well, now I don't have to do anything. But at the same time, if you had a skiing accident or something, right, and you just couldn't work anymore,
right,
it'd be nice to know that, oh, I guess everything's kind of taken care of.
Right. So what's part of what's contributed to this is that, so I have been, for the last couple of years, like kind of the biggest thing I want, like in terms of just material things, I don't really want a whole lot. I've actually like to get rid of stuff, but I do want a bigger house. Like our current house is kind of small. I would like a bigger house. I would like a bigger yard. I feel like that would really have a major impact on our quality of life overall. And that's been the thing I've been that, and like getting this, getting Simple Programmer, getting the partnership all squared away, like that was a really big goal that was really motivating me. The idea of maybe buying a bigger house is really motivating to me. But I've realized I've now that I'm getting close to the point. I thought I had to just get my 2 years of tax returns and I thought that my income would be enough that I'd be able to get, the kind of house that we were interested in getting. And I've been looking into it recently, and I realized that no, I'm probably like at least 2 to 3 years out, because when you're self-employed, you don't get they don't factor your income the same way. It's a completely different ballgame than if you're just collecting a paycheck. So yeah, so it's kind of like, sorry, Mario, the princess is in another castle.
Yeah, your deductions hurt you, and
yes, exactly. Yeah. So so it looks like I'm making about little bit more than half of what I'm actually making. Is what they're going to give me, what the bank's going to give me credit for on the mortgage. So so it's like it's going to be at least a 2 to 3 year process, I think, before I can really start that. And I was kind of wanting to get that squared away before I did any kind of real estate investing, which is my next goal. But now that that's looking like it's farther out, I think it's probably going to make more sense to start to move on the investing, because the mortgages for the investment properties will be pretty small, and they're going to have a negligible effect, I think, on my ability to qualify. So but I'll get it back. Just need to get back into the routine. The routine is really the key for me.
Yeah.
Like, get back to doing the things that you would do if you were motivated, and you'll soon feel motivated.
It's true. It's true. Yeah, I got a similar. I was going to say, mine was you have to have a plan. Not only do you have to have a plan, but you have to force yourself to follow the plan. Like, so, I learned that quickly on the cruise ship this last 2 weeks ago. It's like, I didn't really have a plan. Like I should have known. Like I could have planned this ahead of time because I said, "Oh yeah, there's going to be buffet, and this is what I'm going to do," and then execute. And then you kind of got to execute on the plan whether you feel like it or not, because it's not that hard to come up with the plan that will get you where you want to go, right? I mean, if you come up with the plan, right, all the things are achievable, right? I mean, it's very easy to say, oh, well, I got a cruise and I've got Christmas coming up, so there's no way that I could like get my body fat down, or I mean, my goal for the year. But that's not true. Like you could. There's a lot of ways that could happen, but you have to have a plan. You have to execute that plan in order to, and that's the other thing too. Is like this morning, like my plan was like, okay, well, I'm running these extra waking up early and running these 5 miles until I get back on track, and I didn't feel like doing it this morning. But I was like, well, that's the plan, so I'm doing it because it's the plan. And that's the thing, is like you just have to remember that, because if you do that, you will execute, and then it's most of the problems are execution problems. They're not actually, like, we think that we have problems that are actual real problems, but it's execution. And so that's it. Like, because coming up with the plan to accomplish what you want to accomplish is not as hard as what we try to make it into. What it turns out to is like, are you executing 100% perfectly? If not, then that's, you don't have a problem. You just have an execution issue. So there you go.
Cool. I agree.
All right, guys. Well, I guess
let's execute.
All right, let's execute. All right, see you guys later. Yeah.
See you later.